be going, I want to do it, while your mind's going, I don't want to do it. And isn't that going to be even more confusing?
Yes.
So we've got to find why we judge. So what's our purpose for judgment? So why do you judge yourself?
Because I feel like I need correction.
Let's have a look. Judge.
I don't realise I do it. That's why I'm just learning about that I judge myself all the time, just this group.
Yeah, I agree, you do. So why do you do it, Laura? What do you get out of it? Remember, everything we do has a reward. What's your reward?
Okay, I feel like I need to be taught. I need to learn through a bit of pain, or I need to learn through pain.
I feel I need to be punished.
Oh, yes. Or else I won't learn and I'll do it again.
Yep. So that's a problem. So if I develop an aspiration to no longer judge myself, one of the things I'm going to have to address is the feeling. I'm going to have to feel through the need to be punished.
The addiction, the desire to feel through the
desire to be punished. Yeah. Now, why would I desire to punish myself? What's the purpose? What does it give me? There's something it gives me.
I do it before others attack me.
Exactly. I punish myself to avoid attack from others.
Even though it's completely illogical, and I know that nobody around me is going to attack
in this place, we're completely illogical, aren't we?
Yeah.
That's all right. You stop judging that. You just go. You don't go like, "Oh, you stupid, silly idiot," because you're completely illogical. You don't do that.
Okay.
Of course, you're a stupid, silly idiot because you're illogical. That's what the facade does. It's all just illogical. The whole thing. Crazy it is. So I punish myself to. Oh, it should be myself. Punish. I'll shorten that to me. To avoid attack of others. Right. Now, what does that tell me is another problem?
I have a false belief, evil.
Well, no, just before you even get there, what does that tell me? I'm avoiding the attack from others. So what does that tell me I'm afraid of?
Attack.
I am afraid of attack. Now, even like you just think about though, we won't cover anymore because we don't want to labour the point too much. So here we are, we've got 3 identified emotions that you've identified as your motivations for judging yourself. You follow me?
Yeah.
So there's 3 things. Have I just put a whole heap of ink over me? No, I haven't.
All cover it. This is all before the addiction. This is right up the top.
Well, these are addictions, obviously.
Okay.
These are addictions.
Right. Okay.
You have a urge to do it.
Yeah.
And the urge to do it is a compulsion, and a compulsion is an addiction.
Feels like who I am.
I know it feels like who you are. It's not who you are. It's your compulsions.
Yes.
Unfortunately for the majority of people here, they believe their compulsions are them. Right? But once you get rid of your compulsions, you no longer think that, right? But it's only after you get rid of them. So here we have 3 compulsions, 3 addictions that cause you to desire to judge yourself. So that all results in the judgment of self. Is that not right?
Yes.
Okay, so then there might be more. I'm not suggesting that's all. I'm just saying there's 3 that we've identified. So here we are. We've got the 3 that we've identified. How do we stop our judgment of ourselves? It was quite obvious. I'm going to have to develop a will to feel each one of those motivations.
Oh.
So I go, okay, I feel about how much I have the need to punish in order to, like when I make a mistake, the need to punish myself for making mistakes. I feel about it. I feel about where that came from, why I want it, what hole is it covering? This is an addiction, so it always covers a hole. What hole is it covering? But I just need to feel it as an addiction and see it as a sin. So you don't see it as a sin, you think it's a good thing. Mm. You think, and the reason why you think it's a good thing is because your parents did it to you, and now you think it's a good thing, so you do it to yourself. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yes.
This one here, you do because it's avoidance of this. So this is an addiction, to punish yourself to avoid the attack of others. You know you're doing that to avoid attack. So what does that tell you? Every time you're going to get you're afraid of attack, you're going to revert to punishing yourself to avoid the attack. Now, is that loving yourself?
No.
Is that loving them? Is that loving the people who's attacking you?
No.
No, it's not. It doesn't do anything for them, does it? Aside from giving them more power over you, which is certainly not loving them. So I'm going to have to feel how terrified I am of attack. That's a fear driving my justified unloving behaviour. It's driving my sin towards myself.
Yeah.
Do you follow me? So it's driving my sin towards myself to judge myself. So if I have those emotions, just those three, do I have a compassion for myself?
No.
No, I don't. So I can't manufacture a compassion for myself unless I release these three emotions. Because to try to manufacture compassion while these emotions exist is like trying to use my willpower to overcome what's really there. I can't do that. What I've got to do is release this so I no longer feel like judging myself. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So also this afraid of attack, I feel it is at my global terror, but it's right still up the top.
Well, it's not actually your global terror. It's a part of your global terror, which we'll talk about in a couple of days' time. But for most people are afraid of attack because when they were children, they got attacked so many times, whether it be verbally or physically. You know, you were put down so many times, attacked so many times, that in fact, today it's used as the major method of controlling a child's behaviour. That's the fact. It's the major way of controlling a child's behaviour. And the more people go away from corporal punishment of a child, the more they revert to these other very insidious methods of controlling a child, which are all very harmful and degrading to the child still. And sometimes more difficult to release because it's a lot easier to admit that Dad belted me every few days for doing something wrong than it is to admit to yourself that somebody manipulated you and played a whole heap of mind games with you to manipulate your behaviour. Do you follow?
Yes.
So the point is, the way to release the judgment of self, which means working towards compassion of self, means that I've got to feel this need I have to feel punished. In fact, you have inside of yourself a feeling that if somebody punishes me, it means they love me. And in fact, your mother tells you that.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. I do this because I love you. And a lot of mothers and fathers have done that. You know, Dad comes home from work, Mum says, give him a belting because they did the wrong thing. And Dad doesn't really want to do it, but he says, all right, I get out the strap and bang, bang, bang. I'm doing it because I love you. Or the Bible says I have to do it. As a part of
learning as well. A loving way of teaching a child is through this process.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So you start reflecting upon that and feeling about that and feeling how harmful that is. If you feel it and release it, then you'll release your desire to judge yourself. Once your desire to judge yourself has been released, now when you look at your facade, you won't judge it. Make sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now you have some compassion, probably automatically for it.
And I'll develop some faith in that because that's quite a big process for me. So I'll develop faith in that process.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
So whenever you do anything that's out of harmony with love of self or love of others, the easiest thing to do is write down the motivations you have for doing it. And most of you know what those motivations are. The key is to be honest with yourself, but most of you know what the motivations are. So you write down your motivations, why you're doing it. Now, in the case of hurting other people, it's a lot about manipulation, control, punishment of others is all about, trying to manipulate and control other people, blackmail other people, bribe other people into getting what you want from them. If you're doing it to yourself, it's about, punishing yourself, bribing yourself in order to get somebody else to treat you a certain way usually. As well, same kind of motivation. So you can find the motivations. The key is once you've found the motivations is to feel them. And you're not doing that. What you do instead is you just punish yourself for having them. So you just go and live in this place.
I totally live in it, yep.
and punish yourself for having them. And the problem with that is that it doesn't get you anywhere.
No.
And that's why you haven't got anywhere.
No.
Because it doesn't get you anywhere doing that. It doesn't help you on a lot of levels, actually. There's also some other motivations for judgment of self, and some of them are actually quite manipulative, believe it or not. Like another one is, you know, we can add many, as I said, but another one is, when I judge self, others are more kind to me. Unfortunately, that is true for most people. Now, what that does is it generates a motivation. Okay, how do I make you kind to me? If I attack myself, highly likely you'll feel more compassion for me than if I am loving myself.
Yes.
So that tells me that I'm addicted to getting love from other people, but I'm unwilling to love myself.
Well, sympathy is better than attack, like as in that place, not in truth.
Well, yeah, see, that's what you tell yourself in that era, but is it really sympathy? Because sympathy has to come from the heart without there being an underlying reason for it coming. And the fact is you've made an underlying reason by judging yourself first. So it's not really sympathy.
It's just not attack, I guess.
It's not attack, but it's not sympathy.
Yeah.
You tell yourself it's sympathy, but it's not. See, these are the lies we tell ourselves. It's not sympathy.
Mm.
True sympathy or compassion comes from the heart without you having to attack yourself for it, without you having to put yourself down for it. True sympathy comes from the heart, of another. So if sympathy is only coming because you've put yourself down first, then I suggest to you it's not sympathy at all. They're responding. They have a position of power over you, and they're responding to the fact that you've given them power. That's all they're responding to. It's actually abusive from God's perspective. Because if I want power over you, and the only way I get power over you is for you to attack yourself, and then I feel more powerful than you, and then I give you sympathy, it tells me that I want power, control of you. That's not love. Yeah, so we've got to be careful there, because and on the receiving end of that, you are giving away power so that you don't get attacked. Yeah, now I suggest that anyone you give away power to, if they want to take it, they are very, very unloving people. And particularly if they want to take it under the conditions you're offering it in, which is a willingness to harm yourself in order for them to have some power over you. If they're willing to take that, they're in a very dark condition. So what you're going to do is attract very dark people into your life doing that. And very dark spirits. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And they'll punish you and do that. They'll give you that feeling while you're giving the power feeling back. And this is what you do with the spirits around you, Laura. You're giving them power. This is the power you're giving them. You're giving them power constantly, giving away your power to them, because you're just afraid of what they'll do to you if you stop. You're better off feeling your fear of stopping and stopping.
Mm.
You follow?
Yeah.
But this is why you judge yourself. So, yeah, all emotions need to allow yourself to feel, release those emotions, and you won't judge yourself anymore. You'll be able to have compassion. So even just developing compassion for oneself, you can see, is a bit of a process. Yeah. It's not going to be something you go today go, I got compassion for myself. I feel happy now. It's not like that at all. It's like you have to work through a number of different emotions to have compassion for yourself. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that.
Fab.
Very helpful.
It seems like this process